Okay, let's look at the Eagles receivers. Wideout numero uno, A.J. Brown with the highest numbers on the board, 72.5. Chiefs play a lot of man-to-man, so this could play to his advantage. I'm not sold on KC's rookie field secondary and then being able to defend him. We know he has been quiet so far in the postseason, but during the regular season, averaged 88 yards per game. And the way that the games have played out here early on in the playoffs hasn't really called for a lot of, long downfield passing because they've been leading by such a significant margin.
If we take a look and kind of starting at the top of the board here with A.J. Brown, the 72.5 yards, 5.5 catches. Now, the 5.5 catches, if you want the over, is actually at plus 110. So your $100 bet is actually going to return you $110. So you're getting more money than you bet there because him getting 6 catches is the underdog in this one. And so if we take a look, I think you can get to the 73 yards without getting there with the receptions. A.J. Brown is a guy that is good with some yak. He is a guy that can be a downfield threat for them as well. I'm much more prone to bet the over if I wanted to bet an over on A.J. Brown on the yardage than I would be on the receptions because I truly believe he can get there to the 73 without having to get to the 6 catches. And so that's how I would play A.J. Brown, would be on the yardage side of things as opposed to the reception side of things. Now, one of the things we definitely know with Devonta Smith is he's kind of a boomer bust type guy. He has had some massive games. He's had some really, really dud games. And where do we think that he's going to fit in this one? And Stormy, when you take a look, I mean, I think that A.J. Brown wins more than he loses here in this matchup. And so with that, I think he could be kind of a focus. And if anything, I lean towards that, taking some stuff away from Devonta Smith. Like I really do. And so if anything, I'm looking for unders with him.
Yeah, last 6 games of the regular season for A.J. Brown, though, if you are targeting those overs, just to support that thought, 95 yards, 97, 103, 181, 70, 119. Wasn't exactly a murderer's row of competition, which we know has been kind of the one flack for this Eagles team coming into the Super Bowl is that their strength of schedule hasn't been what it has been for the Kansas City Chiefs. 4th easiest strength of schedule in the NFL this year, but still really significant numbers. Devonta Smith with his number there at 60.5. His final games of the regular season, 67 yards, 115, 113, 126, 64, and 102.
If you take a look at Dallas Goedert, who became a much bigger part of this offense down the stretch, sitting at 46.5 yards, 4.5 receptions, what that really does is affect Quez Watkins. So if you look at the splits when Goedert was on the field and when he was off the field with injury, Quez Watkins became a much higher targeted player, and then Goedert came back, and then Quez Watkins just became persona non grata. And so when you look here, I know a very popular bet has already been on Quez Watkins under from a yardage perspective. I know the under on the receptions, even though it's only set at 1.5 receptions, has been a very popular bet as well. And the thing is what they've done now with Quez Watkins when Goedert has come back, he's kind of become their shot guy. He has very low percentage balls thrown his way. And so when you look and you're going like, dude, he only needs 2 catches. Like, he only needs 2 catches. How can I bet an under only needing 2 catches? Well, the catch rate of the balls that are thrown his way now are just so low, right? I mean, he just has low percentage catches. And so I have a pretty strong lean to the under on Quez Watkins for when it comes to catches, and certainly an under on the yardage as well. Honestly, at this point, if you are leaning towards an over on Quez Watkins from a yardage perspective, I'm pretty sure there's an alternate market where it's just his longest catch is something like 9.5 or 10.5 yards or something. You'd be better served just betting that, because it would be more likely that he gets you like 1 for 11, and then you're like sitting there wanting to kill yourself. Just go with like sit there and do the over on the longest catch for him instead.
Real quickly to round out that thought, the running backs there, something that helped me cash on Samaje Perine a week ago, over 2.5 receptions, talking about how Kansas City is not great when it comes to allowing receptions to running backs. Anything there with Kenneth Gainwell or Miles Sanders?
I think if you are thinking that this game is going to get out of hand in favor of the Chiefs, then you're going to really like Gainwell props. And I think if you believe that this game is going to be played pretty close to the vest and that this game is going to be really tight, then I think you're not liking Kenneth Gainwell props. There's a pretty big split for when games are played within one score as to the Miles Sanders snap share and things like that, as opposed to when Kenneth Gainwell's on the field. And so if you lean that direction, you probably like Kenneth Gainwell overs. If you think this game plays super, super tight, then you're probably going to be looking at Kenneth Gainwell unders.
And that works for receiving or rushing, just in terms of the touches that he's going to get. Did anything stand out to you on the rushing board?
Miles Sanders would be the one mainly for me, and more just one of the other plays that you can look at with Miles Sanders, which would be just leading the game in rushing yards in total.
Before you place your next bet, visit VSiN.com for all the latest data and powerful betting tools. Start with our live odds, team comparisons, and previews for every game on the schedule. Then dive deeper with live tracking of betting trends and line movements. And don't miss our unique tools, including odds comparisons from sportsbooks across the country, prop bet search engine, and custom parlay calculator. Everything you need to increase your betting knowledge and confidence is at your fingertips. Visit VSiN.com today.